Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Sensibly Cynical podcast. My name, of course, is Sean, and here I am with another amazing interview for you. This time, it is, once again, Natalis Ruby. She's back here on the podcast. She talks about her new single, Las Paredes, a little bit about the Grammys because she recorded this before. So grateful for her time. She also, discusses what she has in the pipeline coming up. And much more. So before I get to my interview with Natalis, please check out our YouTube channel. I'm trying to build that. So that's youtube.com/@Sensibly Cynical. Please subscribe. Check us out on Twitter @CynicalSensibly. Instagram is Sensibly Cynical Pod. Check out the Facebook page, WordPress. We are on there. Bonfire is where you can get the Sensibly Cynical merch, shirt, mug, and even a sticker. So please support the Sensibly Cynical podcast. Subscribe, rate, review, all that. Now to my chat with Natalis. All right, ladies and gentlemen, after some self-admitted technical difficulties, multi-platinum, Billboard charting, singer-songwriter Natalis Ruby. What's going on?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for that introduction. I'm all good. How's it going?
Yes. Now it's fine. So full disclosure, you mind if I say full disclosure and tell the audience what happened?
No, go for it.
So like an amateur podcaster, I podcast too much and I realized my disc was full. So I tried, we tried going live here, and then it gave me the delete button, like the delete. So long story short, I deleted a bunch of shit and we're ready to go. So
Awesome.
Las Paredes, did I say it right?
Las Paredes, yes.
Okay, so talk about the process behind that single.
So I partnered with a friend of mine who's also a producer, singer-songwriter. His name is Ario Armani. And we got together for about a week where we kind of just spent some time together in London with other friends of ours who are also songwriters and producers. And we kind of just took turns helping each other finish each other's projects. And so when I had this opportunity to work with Ario, I expressed to him that at that time I was going through a push and pull kind of toxic relationship and that I really wanted to write about it and kind of just get it out of my system
Mm-hmm.
and that maybe that will help me move on. And so that song came from that experience.
Mm-hmm. So the YouTube video came out on January 26th, correct?
Yes.
And it's done pretty well, over 2,000 views. What was the strategy behind the video?
Thank you. Well, I shot the video in El Paso with this new management team that I'm working with named Argenis Management.
Mm-hmm.
And he has his own crew of people that he goes to when he needs particular projects or vibes done for an artist. So basically, I communicated to them that the meaning behind the song, the overall meaning is, the experience of battling some ghosts from your past. Mm-hmm. And that I wanted to be able to convey that visually. And so we came up with this concept that, the actress was going to be at home and she was going to be haunted by the memories of an ex. And she would feel hands caressing her, but then the hands are not there. Or there's clothing items from her partner that disappear. So it was fun. I had a good time filming it. And, I think that this time around, the viewers are kind of enjoying what they're seeing.
Mm-hmm. So was that kind of a strategy was, hey, put the video out first and then the day after on the 27th, do a full release?
Yeah, to put the video out first, we thought to do a watch party and kind of gather people that are excited about the project and spend some time with them, and in hopes to reel some more people into the song.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, reeling people in. I gotta say, you've been consistently working throughout, you know, throughout the pandemic and even today. So how do you keep it up? Like the work ethic you have is amazing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Balance is really important for me, especially because I have three autoimmune conditions. So, I kind of try to seize the moment, the days that I am allowed to create and I'm feeling like in that space, in that mind space, I kind of go like as hard as I can, so that
Hmm.
I have content and things to talk about that last during the times where I'm not really able to do that, if that makes sense. So balance for me is important. And then, taking care of my mental health, making sure that I'm always motivated, and then also that I'm living life, because if I'm not living my life, then I have nothing to talk about.
Right, right. I remember last time it was over a year and a half already. You talked about, you went into some of your, personal, what I mean, conditions and stuff. And, I just wanted
Yeah.
to let you know I appreciate, I'm sure the audience appreciates, you going in because your story could help other people out.
Yeah, that's the goal and that's my hope. Sometimes I get super scared of my own dreams because of my health, and I
Mm,
question, like, am I strong enough for this? Like, can I really, like, am I pushing too hard? Like, and
right.
I'm constantly challenging my limits, and it is scary at times, but to see people like Lady Gaga and Selena Gomez who have the same condition and they're like out there killing it, I guess it's just a matter of like finding what works for me so that I'm able to do what I love, but then also like not overdo it and push myself too hard.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I'm pushing myself so hard that I'm podcasting so much, Natalis, that I don't even have room for all these episodes.
Yeah.
So I understand. I got so much data in here that it shut my laptop down. That's a problem.
Wow.
It's like
Yeah.
I can't keep all this stuff. I gotta delete some of it. So I understand. I understand. Um, we didn't haven't talked about the record. So it's I don't want to mispronounce it. So is it I Bendito?
I Bendito Records, that's my
I got
my
it right.
independent label. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was nervous. I'm like, do I hope I get the pronunciation correct. So talk about that label. I know you said I don't think we talked about it last time. So, so what was the vision behind it? Or like what's the vision?
Yeah, so for me, I'm always trying to incorporate my culture in everything that I do. And "Ay bendito" is a saying in the Caribbean, where it's one of those phrases that can take on many meanings depending on the context in which you use it. Like "Ay bendito" could be like, "Oh, poor baby," or "Ay bendito" could be like, "Damn, that is fire." And so obviously the latter is the meaning behind the name of my label. Like, I'm committed to making music that is so fire that
Mhm.
has people saying like, "Oh my God," because "Ay bendito" in English is pretty much like saying, "Oh my God."
Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that. And you were talking to me off air about the Grammys. Isn't that the Grammys in like 3 days?
Yes, the Grammy ceremony, the telecast is on Sunday, and I fly out
Yeah.
on Saturday to kind of just like prepare for everything.
So talk about what you got coming up in the Grammys. What will you be doing, or what's going on?
Yeah, I'm definitely there to enjoy the show. First and foremost, Bad Bunny is going to be performing. I'm super excited to see him and Lizzo as well. Those are like my two top performances that I'm going to be checking for. And then, of course, networking with all of the other musicians that are going to be there from all around the world, attending pre-Grammy parties,
Right.
after parties, all of those things. Just kind of like, celebrating with my peers and enjoying what for us is like our Super Bowl. Like the Grammys
Hmm.
is the Super Bowl of music.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a few questions regarding networking. Um, so nowadays more than ever before, I would think in the entertainment industry, in the podcasting industry, music industry, networking is at an all-time high, as in, necessary to succeed. Do you have any networking tips for people? Like go to events like, the Grammys and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, do you have any advice for how someone, new should
Yeah,
start?
definitely. So I'll say what works for me when I'm networking because I'm completely introverted. I'm very shy. And sometimes it's really hard for me to jumpstart a conversation unless I've had a drink myself. I'm not
Well,
promoting drinking though.
after all these difficulties, I got a drink. So,
So yeah, what works for me is making sure that I look the part, right? Like I have to be dressed to the nines so that I'm making people do like double takes at me, right? Or I'll wear
mhm,
something that's kind of like a conversational piece and that wheels people in. And the minute somebody sees you or gives you a compliment, you
right.
know that's a moment to share with them, to compliment them back, to find out more about them, and to see kind of where you guys can go from there with each other.
hmm Now, social media is huge, right? Do you know
Yeah.
anybody that's doing well that doesn't have social media? Do you think it's that important, or do you think people can, be successful without it?
I don't know anyone that doesn't have social media. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's that like
they're like they live on another planet at this point.
I know, right? I know. That's pretty much what will happen at the Grammys, huh? Everyone will, drink too much and hand out social media handles.
Yeah. The other cool thing that I like to do when I'm networking is I change the screensaver on my phone to be a QR code.
Oh
And so like
yeah, I
if
heard about that.
anybody asks for my information, they can just scan the face of my phone, and then there's no like, here's my phone, give me your phone, or here's this card that you might lose a couple
Yeah, and so
days
many
later.
people talking,
And then I tell them, yeah, and then I tell them to screenshot my contact so that they remember when they're going through their photos that they met me.
Back in my day, you had to like now all you do is have to scan a fucking, piece of
Yeah, just
equipment,
scan the QR code. Yep.
It's funny. I see I don't know. I have to send you this article that's going around I found on I think I found it on Facebook. There's actually a picture of an article that came out that the guy was right. Some genius predicted that like this was like in the 50s, Natalis,
Hmm.
that people would be having phones in their pockets. And little did that person know that not only would they be right, but QR codes is the future. And
Yeah,
it's now. Like, I don't know
it's right now.
anybody, yeah, like on TikTok without QR codes.
Let me tell you this story. It's funny that you say that because when I had my very first cell phone, it was one of those flip phones.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember holding that phone and saying to myself, and this was before like the internet, this was still during the
Right.
AOL chat room days.
Oh, that's
So I
way
remember
back.
I remember saying to myself, like, man, I wish we had a phone that went in the AOL chat rooms and that was able to surf the
Man.
web and take pictures. A year later, after me thinking that thought, the Sidekick came out. I don't know if you remember that phone, but the
Uh,
Sidekick was kind of like the beginning of these social media phones where like you had a messenger
I remember the
that attached it.
BlackBerry.
Yeah, so it was kind of around the same time as the BlackBerry, but the Sidekick did a little bit more and it was in color.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
So
remember too much about that, but I remember the
it
track.
went on the internet. You should look it up. It went on the
I
internet. It played games. It
I
did like
will
all of these things.
as soon as this conversation's over, I'm gonna look it up. I remember the track phone where you had to, and you could still do it, like you paid per minute.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I've
remember
seen
that.
those.
I
I
remember
remember those. Yeah.
they're still around. So you're still in New York, right?
No, I am based in Albuquerque, New Mexico now.
Okay, so talk about that transition. What's going on with that? Like, have you new to New Mexico? Talk about that.
Yeah, well, my family has been here for over a decade, so I used to visit every now and then whenever I would get a chance. But since I left my last job and kind of decided to focus on my health, I
Mhm.
came to New Mexico purposely for just in search of a slower pace and in
Mm-hmm.
search of a place where I didn't have to stress myself out so much just to survive. And no offense to New York or New Yorkers. I was born in the Bronx. New York is really hard, and
Mm-hmm.
I just got to a point where I got tired of the hustle mentality. It wasn't
Right.
working for me, and I was constantly in the hospital and not getting better. And so that was my ultimate deciding factor to come out west, where
Right.
it's a slower pace.
Yeah,
I don't have to stress out so much, and my dollar goes way further.
I actually visited New Mexico over the summer.
Oh, nice. Which
Yeah.
part did you go to?
Well, I flew into Albuquerque and then I went to the Colorado New Mexico border basically.
Nice. Did you go to the Four Corners?
Yeah, I did all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I did the casino that's on the way from New Mexico to Colorado. I like
Okay.
and then yeah, I didn't that was my first ever casino because obviously it's illegal in Florida and I'm a goody two shoes. So I don't,
I
you
didn't
know,
know that it was illegal in Florida. Wow. You learn something new every
I'm
day.
talking about like there's casinos in Florida, but I'm talking about like betting, like you know what I mean, like legal
Yeah,
like
yeah.
gambling and betting and stuff. Like there's casinos, but I just mean like you know what I mean, like
Okay, yeah.
betting and stuff. But there's casinos in Florida, but I'm not. I wasn't used to putting the doing the slot machines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was a good time. So besides the Grammys coming up, what do you got in the pipeline?
I'm working on a new song, and this song, the goal is to kind of tap into my Puerto Rican roots.
Uh-huh.
It is going to be in the salsa genre.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I kind of want to like put a fresh spin on salsa music. Not that there's anything wrong with it now, absolutely not. Like there's so many classical
Yeah, of
records out there
course.
that will never die. But kind of like there's this group that I love from the 90s. Their name was DLG. And when they
Mm-hmm.
came on the scene with their salsa, like it had an urban flair to it, and it attracted a younger crowd back into the roots of salsa. So I'm kind of trying to attempt something like that, where like I do it with an urban flair that helps bring the younger generation in. Like, if you're Latino, if you're from Puerto Rico or Cuba or anywhere in the Caribbean, like these are our roots, and
Mm-hmm.
let's not let it get lost in translation.
I hear you on that. But before we get to what you have in the future, let's dive more into this song, Los Paredes. So, can you talk to people about what kind of music this is? Like, what's the vibe? Like, is this a club song?
I think you could definitely play it in the club depending on what hour of the night. But it
Mhm.
has like a reggaeton slash trap slash R&B pop kind of feel.
Yeah.
The melodies are very R&B trap, but my voice has like a pop flair to it, so that's kind of where that comes in. And then it has like a reggaeton drum pattern, so it's interesting to hear how all of those genres fuse together. And I think people are having a hard time like putting it in a box because it's all of these things at one time.
When you mean put it in a box, you mean like typing like
You know,
what
like
it is
like
in characters?
yeah, no, like putting it in a
No, I
specific
know.
genre.
I know.
You know,
It was a bad joke. It was a bad joke.
it's okay.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like trying to decipher what genre of music it is.
Right.
Yeah. So what would you
And I love
classify it
that.
as?
I love that.
So if you
I
did your best,
classify
what would
it
you classify it as?
I classify it as reggaeton.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I would
Like
do.
like like reggaeton romántico, which is like romantic reggaeton.
That's what I would say as well. So what's the difference between reggaeton and salsa music? Like is there talk about the
Oh, the bass
difference?
the drum patterns are entirely different.
Yeah.
Although both of them, the similarity is that they have roots in African culture, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Like salsa, all of the instruments that are used in salsa are from Africa. And then reggaeton is heavily influenced by Jamaican music. I remember growing up in Carolina, Puerto Rico, when reggaeton was just being formed. A lot of the
Mhm.
kids that were experimenting with this new sound, they were trying to be like the next Shabba Ranks. So they would listen to Shabba Ranks' latest hit and like try to write it in Spanish or
Right.
write some sort of response to him. And then slowly, gradually through time, that became a thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, the genres, they're not similar to each other. They have different drum patterns, but
Right.
what brings them together is that root in African culture.
Gotcha. Gotcha. You talked about Bad Bunny. Who else is on your playlist currently?
Um, so I listen more to R&B music and like classic R&B
Mhm.
music. So right now I have like the Shy Lights, Stevie Wonder, Anita Baker. Like those are the people that I've been listening to lately. I love their melodies. I love what they talk about, how they talk about love.
Mhm.
And it inspires me.
Right. Right.
I go in
Um,
phases though, like because I love music. I love music in general and I listen to everything, but I have these phases where like for a good couple of months I'm like stuck in this one genre and time period. And so for right now it's classic R&B.
well, I have a loaded question ready for you. Not
Okay.
Natalis, who do you consider the greatest of all time? Like, if you had one pick,
For you mean like
anything for
musician wise?
musician, yep, of all time, one
For
pick.
well, I would have to say hands down Michael Jackson.
Okay, I like that.
I feel like no one has been able to create pandemonium the way that he has, and you know the records that his music is still making today, even while he's not here. No
Hmm.
one else has been able to achieve that. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna say Michael Jackson, hands down.
yeah. Would you include Whitney Houston up there? Would you put her up there?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's
I would put Whitney Houston up here. The only reason why MJ beat her out is that he has more record sales and he's
mm,
broken more records as a
I mean,
musician.
yeah, Jackson 5. I mean, everybody,
And yeah,
everybody who's anybody knows who he is.
he started his career when he was like 5. So he was
I
also at
know.
it a lot longer than Whitney
Crazy.
Houston was. Yeah.
Natalie, this has been awesome. Thank you for putting up with my technical difficulties. I apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. Don't worry about it.
All right, where can people find you on social media?
I am Natalis Ruby everywhere, spelled Natalis Ruby, like the stone. At Natalis Ruby everywhere. You could also check out my website, natalisruby.com, and it has links to all of my social media.
All right. Safe travels, okay?
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I will keep you posted as things
Yeah.
start to progress.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Hopefully this doesn't detract you, from coming back.
No, no, definitely coming back.
I'll double check on my storage next time, okay?
All right, no
All right.
problem. Take care and
All
have a
right.
good night.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye.